El Señor es mi bastión, mi baluarte y salvación, es mi Dios, es mi Dios, mi escudo y defensor, Salvador que libra hoy, es mi Dios, es mi Dios. El Señor me premia por mi conducta y mi valor, es mi Dios, es mi Dios. Te alabaré, Señor, te alabaré, Señor. El Señor es mi bastión, mi baluarte y salvación, es mi Dios, es mi Dios, mi escudo y defensor, Salvador que libra hoy, es mi Dios, es mi Dios. El Señor me premia por mi conducta y mi valor, es mi Dios, es mi Dios. Te alabaré, Señor, te alabaré, Señor.
Well, hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the David Trig Show on this beautiful, what is this, Friday already? This is the day before Christmas. How do you feel about that, my dear GOZO friend? Welcome to the David Trig Show. My name is David Trig here at the GOZO Studios here in Long Beach, California. Welcome! GOZO for the whole family, your daily dose of joy, your Jamba Juice for the soul. GOZO, by the way, means joy in Spanish. I am the GOZO Doctor. Monday through Friday here about 8 a.m. Pacific, bringing you the latest news, traffic, weather, all the things that matter to you most, and especially your daily dose of GOZO. I have here my GOZO mug. Let's see. GOZO for the whole family. I also have my GOZO bracelet. Right over there is my GOZO hat. And most of all, something that's new to the set here is the winter GOZO Piston Cup. Big shout out to Cars. I love that show. You guys love Cars? By the way, put in the chat below, whether you're on Facebook Live or on Periscope or on YouTube Live, put on the chat below, what is your favorite holiday Christmas movie? I think by far mine is Christmas Story, maybe second only to, what's the one with the train with Tom Hanks? That one. Let me know what that one's called, by the way. Put it in the chat below. I think that those two movies are just so awesome, so positive, so just so funny. So let me know what your favorite holiday Christmas movie is, and let's talk about it. Today, talking about, I think, something that is very dear to a lot of us, and kind of a thing where we can be honest, I guess, in some ways, and to say, I don't always feel happy at Christmas, or maybe I am trying to be, cheery, but there is a Christmas cloud that maybe sets in for a lot of us. And you might often feel guilty, right? I think that many people, we feel guilty over that, or we maybe want to rush through things. I'm looking here at the my YouTube channel. So if you are on YouTube, make sure that you also leave me a comment below so that we can communicate and you can chat, comment here on the live video stream. You can watch it here live on YouTube. As I said, I'm also streaming live to Periscope. So wherever you may be, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what is your favorite holiday Christmas movie so that we can all together just have a really wonderful time. But I want to welcome all my friends here to Periscope, to Facebook Live, and as I said, to YouTube Live as well, Twitter. So talking today about this issue of, is it okay to be a little bit low? And what do you do about all the expectations that you have, that maybe people have of you? Perhaps a lot of it is even self-induced, or sometimes we try to ignore our feelings because it's tough to be kind of in that place over and over again. So I want to give you a little bit of kind of my story, and then to hopefully help you with some of the tips and some of the things that I think are important to do during this season. So let me tell you a story. First, I was talking to my friend the other day about the loss of her father this year. Not only did she go through the loss of, actually it was her mother, but she also has been going through her own progress and spiritual journey of trying to understand what is next for her in business and as a creative, as a healer. And so we were talking about this being the first Christmas without her mom. And she was telling me that she doesn't always understand why so many people feel sad at Christmas. That for her, even though she did lose her mom, that she feels like her mom is with her every day. And so it got me thinking as I drove away about how we all respond to loss, and how my friend is, the way that she's working through the loss of her mom this first Christmas is by really seeing her in everything she does. And so I thought about when I first lost my father, my first Christmas, when I lost my grandmother who raised me. I think for me it was maybe it was something that I dealt with pretty deeply. And, I have studied, I'm sure like many of you, the 7 stages of grief. And so you have these different stages from shock to denial to integration really is where you want to land. And you really can't skip the steps. You can't just move on as quickly as you would like even, or people want to tell you, or maybe even the church wants to tell you. You really have to go through it because we're human beings. Now, at the same time, I thought that one of the things that is important for us, and for you especially, perhaps you're grieving in some way, is to give yourself that space. I was also reading on Facebook here earlier today about my other friend who was writing about her father also. Actually, it was her father for her, and how this Christmas she's really missing him, even though it's been, I think, maybe 8 or 9 years. The memories, the loss. And then I have another friend who lost his wife, I think it was at the beginning of this year. So this is his first Christmas without his wife. My point is that, like you probably know many people that are dealing with some sort of Christmas cloud. And when you are going through that, it affects you. It affects your husband. It affects your wife. It affects your kids. They want to enjoy Christmas. They want to have you be up and cheery, and you feel guilty about not being there. And yet you have this current inside that is in many ways keeping you back, or is really calling you to grieve. So I have a few steps I wanted to give you on what to do when you're feeling low, even though it's Christmas. And number one is to let it be. Just like the song, is to, let me even put it this way, to invite that sadness into your life. Now, some people misunderstand what I mean by this. Some people, I remember I had a few spiritual leaders tell me that I was wrong, and they literally almost walked out of the room because I said that you have to welcome this sadness. And I don't mean that we are inviting depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts into our lives. What I mean is that the more that you work to resist, the more it actually is going to show up. The harder that you work at trying not to feel something, you're going to actually end up feeling it even stronger. It's just going to come out in anger or in alcoholism or in some sort of addiction, or it might come out in eating or in shopping, or maybe you are going to just lock yourself in the house and never want to come out. So it's better to invite it and to see it as a friend or an enemy. I even have named my different feelings, Bruce or the shark, or I remember I had a friend call it the killer bees. But you are in a relationship, not in a saying you're giving in, but that you realize that this friend comes and goes, that you can't fight it, that the only way to find grace in this Christmas cloud is to go through it. Now, that's scary for a lot of people. That's why number 2 is very important, is to then make sure that you are walking along this journey with friends, that you are not doing this by yourself, because when you're walking through a Christmas cloud on your own, you will tell yourself mostly negative things, negative messages. I had a friend recently that her children are away from her for the very first time. They're actually traveling overseas, and so she feels distraught. She feels at a loss. She was telling me, I cry all the time. I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm afraid that I'm going to do something crazy. And so I was advising her to understand that this is a very normal feeling, that this is not something that is wrong to feel that way. Because I think that for a lot of people, they feel huge levels of guilt over feeling sad or loss, or you miss someone that you love, your husband, your children, even if they're alive or they're just next door, meaning, I don't know, they're at their dad's house in another state is what I mean. People feel guilty. So it's very important that you realize that it's normal. And the only way that you're going to realize that is by having input from a mentor. So whether it's this show, whether it's a therapist, a friend, a pastor. Now, here's something I want to advise against. There are people that are not safe, that don't understand your journey. Stay away from those people. Don't try to overburden them or to have them get you, because you're only going to feel frustrated. So it's better that you talk to people that are safe. Now, the question I always get is, well, Trig, who? I can't afford a therapist. I can't leave the house. I'm stuck here, or I don't have time to go see someone. I think that especially online now, there are so many apps, so many shows, so many mentors. Listen. It might be that you listen to input online. It might be that you talk to somebody that you trust, that you maybe haven't talked to in a while. Because here's the thing. When you begin to talk about these things, guess what happens? You realize that everyone feels the same way. And it actually gives you permission, and it gives them permission to talk about these things. And there's a sense of community. And it's a very powerful thing. Number 3 is the value of giving yourself time. You know, the saying goes that time heals everything. I don't know if time heals everything, but it definitely, in terms of grief, it's a very important ingredient of healing. Now, I would say that dedicated time or wise time heals everything. In other words, if you do the right things, that is important. What's hanging on my elbow? I wonder, what is it? I don't know. Thanks for letting me know. I don't think there's anything, but thank you for the comment. Yeah. So, the problem is that the issue is that you have this, I think we rush, right? We rush so much. We think, man, I got to get moving. I have to quickly go on to this thing and that thing. And I can't give myself the time and the space to grieve, because life doesn't stop for anyone. I want to tell you about a passage that is very important, a very beautiful passage that I use a lot with people, especially during this season. And that's where in Luke chapter 2, Jesus talks to Mary. the mother of Jesus, where the angel Gabriel actually appears to Mary and gives her this message that at face value you would think is an awesome message of hope and joy, but really it was a very traumatic message. It would change Mary's life forever. First of all, it was a scary message because an angel is talking to her. Okay, so that was already very weird. Second, this angel Gabriel was telling Mary that she was going to have a baby, even though she didn't have a husband and wasn't married and didn't have any sexual relationships with anyone. So that, again, that's number two. Three, she's a very young person and who's dating someone. And so now she's thinking, what is Joseph going to think? Now I'm pregnant and it's not his child. And then there are many other complications to this whole announcement. I mean, most of all, that she's being told that she's going to be the mother of the Savior of the world. That was crazy. It was a privilege, but it was just a crazy, crazy moment for her. And so I relate that to many of us that have these messages that we hear sometimes that people think, well, you should be happy. You have your kids, you have a car, you have a new job. Maybe you did lose someone, but they're in a better place. Why are you so sad, people say? And so we hear these messages that maybe to others should be a message of joy, but to us, we're hearing messages of sadness or fear. And so the way Mary responds is very, very powerful. She says, "Let it be unto me according to your word." She says, I'm not going to fight this. I'm not going to say this is easy, but instead of rushing through this season, I'm going to be obedient to it. I'm going to sit still. Let it be unto me, said Mary to Gabriel, according to your word. So in other words, there's a sense of surrender, a sense of I'm not in control of my destiny. And guess what she did after that? Once she gave up that control, she then sang a song. And the song is there in Luke 2 called the Magnificent, which is a beautiful song of praise. And then after that, it says in the Bible there that she went to see her cousin Elizabeth. And Elizabeth was also with child, about to give birth to John the Baptist. So they had this common experience of shared relationship and love and ups and downs. And so when you surrender your grief to God and you simply just let him into your life, like someone said, you just simply lift the window shade just a little bit and let that light in. What happens is that you feel connected. You have a greater sense of joy in your life that isn't fake, that comes from God, that comes from the fact that he's the one that's bringing this into your life. You have a sense of timing. I mean, obviously you have to wait 9 months. Mary had to wait 9 months to give birth to a baby, but she no longer felt alone in the whole process. She was in community with Elizabeth. She was able to rejoice with her cousin who was also going through a very, very amazing time. So when you and I surrender our grief to God, he doesn't just simply take it away or heal it right away, but you have a sense of timing. You surrender to it instead of fighting against it. And that, I think, is the most important aspect of waiting or of feeling low at Christmas, is surrender. Surrender this to God. Surrender your feelings. Surrender your expectations to God. Let go of all that you think you should do. Now, here's something that I think is very important, is make sure that you tell those closest to you where you're at. When you can, begin to talk about this. Write it down. Write it down. Have a meeting with your family or with your boss if it's something professional. Let those near you know, or let them into your process, so that they don't think that there's something wrong that you need help with, or that they need to call the police about, or that they need to take care of everything on their own. Because what happens is that when you see someone struggling, everyone around that person feels like they have to now do everything for them. or everything on their own. And so they feel now alone. They feel scared. They feel fear. They feel concern. And so it's important that you talk to them about it. Now, if you don't know even what to say, then just say, I don't know yet exactly how I'm doing. I'm definitely going through a Christmas cloud, but know that I am thinking it through and I am okay. I think the best thing that you can tell those who love you is, I'm okay. Not that you're through it. Don't tell them, don't lie to them, because obviously they can see right through you, through your lies or through what you say. But you don't have to, as I guess what I'm trying to say is, just be honest with yourself. Don't be so high or so low about it. Just simply tell them that you're working through it. So I wonder what you think about this. Let me know here in the chat below, here on Facebook or on YouTube Live. Let me pause here for a second just to see if you have any comments here in the live chat. I'm here on YouTube right now seeing what comments might be coming in. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in to this live stream. Always grateful for all that you do to be here on Facebook Live. And so I'm just looking here at the chat below and notice that I have a comment here. Let me see what it says. Let's see if I can read it. Sometimes I don't always can't see what's written here, so I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. Blessings, my brother. Yes, Javier. Greetings to you, my friend. Healing during this season. Thank you so much, my brother Javier, from my youth, a good friend of mine from when we were kids, Javier. So I hope that these tips can help you, because I find that, as I said, many people in our churches, in our blocks, obviously in our own homes, you yourself might be that person who doesn't know how to deal with these feelings. And I think that maybe, let me close with this, that it's very easy to feel, like I said, guilty, especially if you are in leadership. If you're a pastor, or if you are someone who is in a nonprofit position, or if you're an educator, it is so easy to feel like you have to be perfect for everyone else. Now, one of the questions that I always ask myself is, how much of this do you talk about with people? So in other words, do you go to work and you say, hey, everybody, I'm kind of depressed right now, and let's talk about it? I think that in everything you have to be wise and do it with moderation. I don't think that Facebook is the place to begin to just go off on all your horrible things. Now, let me say this, even when I say that, I know a lot of friends that find community in talking about their process. So I don't mean to hide, because that's one of the things I just mentioned. You can't hide. But I think that we have to have appropriate places. For me, it's definitely seeing a therapist. It's definitely talking to my close friends. I'm not one to get online and just put everything out there, but other people do, and they have a good sense of community in that. I want to ask you, who is that person? What is your plan? And now let me say this, if your plan is to just talk to God about it, or to your wife, I would say you need a third person. There's power in having more than, quote, prayer or the scriptures, or even just your wife or your husband. Because when you have that third person involved, you can get a perspective that is very different. Like for me, I would say that God by far is the most, he's the one who centers me in everything. But to have these other counselors and trusted friends has been powerful. So you may just want to ask yourself, do you need to be, maybe going back to those three things, which are you leaning on the most, and how do you then maybe strengthen that relationship? And then which of the three are you the weakest in? So what are the three categories? As I said, spiritual connection. So are you strong in your spiritual connection to God? Is that fruitful? Second is a therapist, a counselor, a friend. Do you have mentorship in your life that is effective? And then third, are you being honest with those closest to you, your husband, your wife, your children? Do they support you in that? So which of those three is the most natural for you? And that's good. But then maybe a question would be, which of those three is the hardest for you? And can you grow in that even this week, even this Christmas season? So I hope that those tips, my friend, help you. Thank you, my brother Javier. Very inspirational. Need to know. Word from God. Yes, now a word. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Thank you, my dear friend. Always a pleasure, my dear brother Javier from Puerto Rico, the land of salsa. Man, I love my salsa. I love the music, and I love the food as well. So thank you so much for your interaction. Let me know, as I said, on the chat below, if you have any comments. Thank you for the hearts on Periscope. I'm here watching on Periscope. Always thankful. Thank you for the hearts. Always, as I said, here for you to walk you through these things, giving you practical advice. Now, let me also tell you about a program that I am trying to get off the ground, and that is called Mobile Mentor. And so you can go to lifeofgozo.com/mobile mentor. Normally, I have my daily devotions, which is also available, but I also have another one called Mobile Mentor. And that is a one-on-one mentorship time. One of the things that I have discovered that is really a passion of mine, and many people seem to benefit from it, is to talk to them one-on-one. On the phone, email, Facebook Messenger, just some, it could be online. If you're in the area, obviously we can do something live, in person, or it could be something that we do through Skype. But I find that many people need that brainstorming time where they are almost there in their progress towards their greatness, towards a life of gozo, but they need more than just watching someone online. They actually do better by talking things through. I'm one of those people. I do best when I do two things: when I listen to amazing input, but then when I process it with someone in my life. And so you might be one of those people that needs to walk through or process your goals with somebody else. Or maybe you're stuck. You have a wonderful opportunity at work, but you don't know exactly if that's the thing you should do. You might be a younger person that wants to get married and be established in life, but you have these things that are causing you to doubt. And so you need someone to talk to. I think that what makes me maybe unique is that I love to listen and to receive you as an intuitive that I am. My personality is an INTJ. Is that what it is? Yes, I think it's INTF, one of those. I know that this one, my personality type is called the advocate. And so my greatest passion and gift is to listen and to then give precise, very astute input that's based on what you're telling me. And it's also based on the thousands and thousands of hours that I've spent learning and going to school and practicing things myself. I'm a practitioner of all the things that I talk about. I don't just simply tell you what I've read. I tell you what I've experienced and what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me. And I find that people feel like they can trust me. A lot of people tell me, I feel like I can talk to you without judgment, without condemnation. And so if you want to just begin to talk and establish some sort of, mentorship time, you can go to lifeofgozo.com/mobile mentor. And what I'm doing, I'm offering this Christmas season is a free 30-minute or an initial conversation just to get to know each other. It could be, as I said, on the phone, through email, it could be through Facebook Messenger, it could be through Skype, or if you're in the area, we can talk on the phone, just to kind of get to know you. And then if you find that this is something profitable for you, then we can establish some sort of routine online or on the phone, where now it's a paid relationship where you feel like maybe for a week or for a month or for maybe 3 months, you want to actually walk through a specific project that you're working on, something that you feel is almost there, but you need some brainstorming time to get through the mess. So thank you so much, my dear friend, for always being here to get your daily dose of gozo, to walk through your own life together with me. I appreciate your time, and I'm thankful for you always letting me into your life here at GOZOlandia, here at GOZO TV, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific. Thank you again, everybody. Have a great, great rest of this day. Have a great Christmas tomorrow, and I will see you again next time. Adios!